Oklahoma State up to number 8. This is becoming the third team in the AP poll era to start 6-0 despite outscoring opponents by an average of 7 points or fewer. So listen, they're putting W's in the win column. Not always, they're not blowouts, but Greg, I don't know that they have to be. Having said that, do you buy this team? Are they for real?
I actually really like this team. They're one of those teams, though, Des, and I'm really trying to put my finger on as to what it is that makes me a little uncomfortable watching them. Probably because they don't ever play to the caliber of the opposition. This is a team that takes advantage of your mistakes, and they defend you like crazy. And when you look at this team, when you think about Mike Gundy and you think about what they've created over the last decade, it's because their offense and their high flying. Well, this team absolutely wins on the defensive side of the football. They capitalize on your mistakes. They do a great job against the run. They do a great job in the red zone. And overall, defensively at all three levels, they can keep things in front of you. And that's not something we're really accustomed to seeing. You look back at some of the great Oklahoma State teams, the 2011s, some throughout the Brandon Weeden era, some throughout the Zach Robinson era. A lot of great teams that Mike Gundy's had in Stillwater. They've all had very underrated defense. That's what this team has too. Even though they're not flashy, Des, they know how to get the job done. I really, really respect that.
Yeah, I respect it too, Greg. And the one thing that really caught was the defense. I'm like, wow, where did they get this defense from? Because of the way they're playing up front. They're number one, well, they're tied for number one in the conference with 19 sacks. I'm like, this Oklahoma State, are you kidding me? And they're third with 46 tackles for loss. So they're doing the job up front with their front seven. But what really shocked me was, Mike Gundy's teams normally like this spread offense, scoring a whole bunch of points. Greg, offensively, they're second to last in the conference, averaging only 26 points per game. So you know that they're now relying on their defense. And the beautiful thing about that, Greg, is that we all know that defense travels. So as they get into the thick of their schedule, they have to play at Iowa State, they have to play at West Virginia, at Texas Tech. Defense travels. I think they'll be favored in every game except maybe the last game, Bedlam versus Oklahoma.
The one thing I will say, though, Dan, that concerns me, and Wendy, the one thing that worries me is they're a little bit too much like Iowa. Like, that's the one thing that bothers me, where their record reflects where they're ranked, and I respect them very, very much, just like I respected Iowa last week. But if for whatever reason things come off the rails, I don't think this is a team that can overcome significant mistakes. And I think that that's something that needs to be very concerning. So if they lose, and I do think, I'm willing to go out on a limb, I do think they will lose at some point this year. They won't go undefeated 15-0, win the national championship. When they lose, I think it could get ugly. That's my only concern for the Pokes.
Greg's going to rain on our parade, Des. We want Bedlam. We want the real deal. And if it shapes up to have that team undefeated.
Exactly, Wendy, exactly.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.